Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. Guys, we've got a big week of boxing coming up, and we've got one of the biggest fights in world boxing. I mean, this fight, in my opinion, is a fight that we've been waiting for the last 5 years. Probably the biggest fight that they could probably make in the sport. They probably could make in American boxing. It's a fight that everybody's wanted for a very long period of time. And it's a fight where some people are saying maybe it's a year or two, maybe past when people wanted it. But I actually think both guys are still in their prime. I think both guys are still two of the best fighters in the sport. And I think both guys are still two of the very best out there. And I think this is going to be a very, very tough fight. Now, for me, this is a very, very difficult fight to call. I think it's a proper 50-50 fight, and I think that's why a lot of people are interested in it, because it's actually a 50-50 fight. You know, there's a lot of people here split, and there's a lot of fanboys of either fighters saying that, you know, Crawford's way better or Terence Spence is way better. The truth is that neither guy is way better than the other. I know Bomac has come out and said, well, he doesn't think Errol Spence is on that level, and the media's hyped Errol Spence. He was never really on the level of Terence Crawford, but he's his coach. He's going to say that. I think this is a proper fight between two of the best fighters out there. And I think if either guy thinks it's going to be easy, or either coach thinks it's going to be easy, then I think they've got a rude awakening on fight night. In terms of the tactical breakdown, I think Terence Crawford for me is the better boxer out of the two. I think Terence Crawford is a lot more versatile. Having said that, I think Spence is also very good. Spence has size advantage on him. You know, he's the bigger guy. He's the natural welterweight, whereas Terence Crawford is a guy that's moved up. However, Terence Crawford, his boxing skills are on another level, hence why he's able to negate most guys that are bigger than him. But with Errol Spence is also, a lot of people saying Errol Spence is a one-dimensional fighter. I disagree. I don't think Errol Spence is a one-dimensional fighter. I think Errol Spence is a very multifaceted fighter. I think Errol Spence can do a lot more than just pressure guys. I think he can box at range. But again, I think his best asset is to actually walk you down and he beats you up. But Terence Crawford, he's a switch hitter. He's very fast on his feet. He's got very good boxing IQ. He's very fast. He's explosive. I think he's got a lot more to him than to Errol Spence. That doesn't mean that Errol Spence isn't a great fighter and isn't also got a big toolbox. It's just that I think Terence Crawford does a lot more. However, it's going to be interesting to see how Errol Spence is able to impose his size and strength on Crawford, and if Errol Spence is to land big shots on Crawford, how Crawford takes them, because Errol Spence is a very solid puncher, but he's a solid unit. And also what Errol Spence has showed so far, that he's actually very tough and he's got a great chin. I do think this fight, it's very, very tough to call. I'm gonna slightly lean towards Crawford, just because I think Crawford, like I said, is the better boxer. And I don't think either guy's going to knock each other out. I think it's going to go to points. And I think I think Terence Crawford wins a points decision. Just because I think there'll be points in that fight where I think he'll outbox Errol Spence. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes the other way and Errol Spence wins a points. It's one of those fights where any prediction, you can't be sure, because both guys are very, very good. Both guys are very, very great fighters. So I wouldn't be surprised either way. I'm looking forward to it. What I am surprised about, though, is the fact that I don't think that, like, we're hardcore fans, so we're quite excited about this fight happening. But I don't think this fight is that big, as big as what I expected it to be. I don't think the fight has got the kind of hype that I expected the fight to have. I expected the fight to probably have a lot more hype than what actually it's turned out to be. I think it's not as big as what I thought initially. I thought it'd be much bigger than this. I thought there would be a lot more people talking about it. I thought there'd be a lot more hype, you know. But unfortunately, neither guy has really crossed over, and they're really hardcore boxing fans obviously know who they are, but I don't think they've crossed over like I expected. both fighters to cross over. Hence why this fight doesn't have a Mayweather-Pacquiao kind of effect. Where I remember that fight was so big, where even people like there was people in the UK, everyone was talking about that fight. It was so big. Because it had been hyped up for so many years. This one has as well, but I just don't think either fighter is got that kind of name, the stature that both Mayweather and Pacquiao had. So unfortunately, the fight isn't as big, and hence why it'll probably show in their purses as well. I don't think either guy's going to make anywhere near as much as what Mayweather and Pacquiao made. But again, those guys were very accomplished. They had achieved a lot more than both of these fighters at a similar point in their, you'd say that, maybe Crawford and Spence are slightly younger than what Mayweather and Pacquiao are when they fought each other, but they're around the same, near off the same age. But Mayweather and Pacquiao were just far more accomplished, more well known, more had bigger fan bases, had more recognition around the world. Hence why Mayweather Pacquiao did huge numbers in the UK as well. I think the pay-per-view numbers here, whereas I don't think Spence Crawford is going to do, I'd be surprised if it does 100,000 in the UK. I'd be surprised if it does anywhere near 100,000 pay-per-view buys in the UK, because it's late in the morning, and are people going to be interested? Probably not. But again, I think the hardcore fans obviously are very excited. The hardcore fans like myself are very excited, but I don't know whether overall, whether there's going to be a lot of people, getting up for this fight because it's one of the best fights in boxing. I'm not sure. I don't think neither of these guys have that kind of pull or that appeal, and really they should do, because both guys are exceptional fighters. But like I said, I think from a promotional standpoint, I think neither of these guys are really big enough. And that's why I think initially this fight wasn't happening, because I think neither guy was really big enough to get the money that they wanted for this fight. And both guys were getting paid very well in other fights, but the money that they wanted to fight, probably they wanted for this fight, they probably thought this is the biggest fight, we should be getting paid even more. But they didn't. You know what crazy thing is? I actually thought Thurman would be part of these guys. Thurman, I thought it'd be Thurman, Spence, and Crawford. That would be the two top guys. But Thurman has just disappeared. After the Danny Garcia win, Thurman just disappeared. He disappeared. His career went downhill. And after that, he just, he had Manny Pacquiao, lost that fight. But I honestly thought that Thurman would be a part of these two. And I actually thought Thurman at one point was the top of the tree. And I thought it would be Thurman, Crawford, and Spence fighting it out for who was the best. Unfortunately, Thurman just went down. He just went down the wayside. His career just went down the wayside, unfortunately. He just never came back after that Danny Garcia fight. And to be honest, Thurman never really rejuvenated his career, and his performances after Danny Garcia, didn't look good against Lopez, didn't look good against Pacquiao, lost, and then Barrios, and then he's not fought since. He's just been so inactive, so inactive. I mean, Danny Garcia fight probably was it 2017? So in 6 years, Thurman's fought 4 times. Like 6 years, he's almost fought 4 times. It's just not good enough for a top, a guy that was, in his prime. Thurman's just, like I said, he's gone into the wayside, really. Really disappointing, Thurman, because I really thought he was going to be something special. But unfortunately, he just didn't really reach the heights that I thought. I thought at one point this guy's going to be like, he's going to be a boxing legend. But when you think about it, like when you look at his career, I mean, he only had 2 meaningful fights, really, like Garcia and Sean Porter. Apart from that, he hasn't really had any. Well, he had Pacquiao, but he lost that. But he hasn't really had that many meaningful fights in his career, Thurman. He's a bit like Kell Brook in a way, where his career just didn't really take off, really. Even though he was unified champion at one point, I just think he was another fighter that really underachieved. I think he was the best welterweight at one point. I think he would have beaten probably everybody. I think he was that good, but unfortunately, Thurman's career just went away. I don't know what's happened there. That's very, very disappointing. I mean, look, he made good money, and he probably just lost the hunger. He got married, and then after that, the Keith one-time Thurman that we once knew just it wasn't the same. He wasn't the same guy. So yeah, but yeah, my prediction is, sorry, I know I went off topic there. I'm picking Terence Crawford to win this fight by points. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.